Today we're exploring the history named as the Fall of Constantinople, 1453. Imagine a city that stood as the gateway between East and West. A city so strong that for more than 1,000 years, it resisted countless invasions. Constantinople, the capital of the Byzantine Empire, was not just a city, it was a symbol of power, faith, and wealth. But in the spring of 1453, everything changed. This is the story of the fall of Constantinople, the day the Middle Ages ended and a new world began. For centuries, Constantinople had been the jewel of the Christian world. Its massive walls, built by Emperor Theodosius in the 5th century, had withstood armies from every direction. Attila the Hun, the Persians, the Arabs, even Crusaders, all had tried to break through. None had succeeded. The city was believed to be invincible. But across the Bosphorus, a young and ambitious ruler was rising. His name was Mehmed II, later known as Mehmed the Conqueror. At just 21 years old, he had a vision to capture Constantinople and make it the capital of his empire. For Mehmed, it was not just about conquering a city. It was about fulfilling a dream that his predecessors had chased for centuries. In April 1453, Mehmed marched with an army of over 80,000 men, far larger than anything the Byzantines could face. Inside the city, Emperor Constantine XI defended with only about 7,000 soldiers, including a few thousand foreign allies. It was a battle of David versus Goliath, but this time, David did not have the advantage. What made Mehmed's siege different was technology. He had brought with him enormous cannons, some designed by the Hungarian engineer Orban. These were not ordinary weapons. One of them, called the Great Bombard, could fire stone balls weighing hundreds of kilograms, shattering even the strongest walls. Day and night, the cannons roared, shaking the earth beneath the defenders' feet. For the first time in history, the legendary walls of Constantinople were crumbling. But the Byzantines did not give up easily. They repaired the walls at night, set up barricades, and fought fiercely from the towers. The city's defenders had one advantage: the chain across the Golden Horn. This massive iron chain blocked the Ottoman fleet from entering the harbor. For a while, it seemed the defenders might hold out. Then, Mehmed pulled off one of the most brilliant military maneuvers of the age. He ordered his men to drag ships over land, yes, over land, on wooden logs greased with fat. Overnight, more than 70 ships were moved into the Golden Horn, bypassing the chain. The defenders woke up to a nightmare. Ottoman ships inside their harbor, cannons now firing from both sides. The noose was tightening. Still, Emperor Constantine XI stood firm. Legends say he walked the walls, encouraging his men, reminding them that they were fighting not just for a city, but for their faith and their legacy. On May 29, 1453, after weeks of bombardment, Mehmed launched his final assault. Waves of soldiers attacked the walls. The first were repelled, then the second. But the third wave, elite janissaries, broke through a weakened section. In the chaos, Emperor Constantine is said to have thrown off his imperial robes and charged into battle like an ordinary soldier. He was never seen again. With his fall, the city's fate was sealed. The gates were thrown open, and Constantinople, the once mighty capital of Byzantium, was taken. The world was stunned. For Christians, it was the loss of their greatest stronghold in the East. For Muslims, it was a triumph that fulfilled centuries of prophecy. Mehmed II entered the city and prayed at the Hagia Sophia, converting the great church into a mosque. From that moment, Constantinople became Istanbul, the shining capital of the Ottoman Empire. The fall of Constantinople did not just mark the end of the Byzantine Empire. It reshaped history. Scholars fled to the west, carrying with them ancient Greek manuscripts that fueled the Renaissance. Trade routes shifted as Europeans sought new paths to Asia, eventually leading to the age of exploration. Columbus, Vasco da Gama, and many others began their journeys because the old routes through Constantinople were no longer secure. So, when we speak of the fall of Constantinople, We are not just telling the story of a siege. We are telling the story of the end of the medieval world and the dawn of the modern age. One city's fall changed the fate of nations, religions, and the entire globe. And today, as we walk through the streets of Istanbul, past the walls that once stood unbreakable, we are reminded of how history can turn in a single moment. A city that was thought to be eternal fell in just one morning, and with it, an entire era came to a close. For more historical moments and insights, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Thanks for watching.